welcome back to the bench. Today we're going to continue to work on the moon buggy. This is the chassis we're using. We built that in the last video. Today I'm going to introduce you to my tires and wheels. I just got the wheels in, so we will go through what we're going to do with the wheels, tires. I can find my cutting tool. Alright, so these are wheels from Amazon, as if you couldn't tell. And I will have in the description where I picked them up, or which ones they are. There's a bunch of them on Amazon that I've used before. Injora, and I think this company, I can't remember the name of it, I'll have to look it up. But these wheels and tires are actually, or wheels, this is from High BDX RC. I think they're all made by the same company. Just somebody throws their name on them. But actually, they're good wheels. They're made out of metal, of course. They're bead locks with a billion little screws. And these are 1.9s. And I'll be honest with you, I like them. I'm going to put black on the moon buggy. And we're using Super Swamper tires. Okay. With some basic foams. They're kind of firm, but not real firm. Okay. I do believe that I'll probably get some different foams. Maybe, I don't know. These, I'm going to see how these look once we put the wheel on. So without further ado, let's put in a million screws. And these wheels are easy to use, really. They are not difficult to put on. So basically, you got the center ring that goes in the wheel first, or the tire first, and make sure that it is underneath the beads, okay, so that when you lock them, the beads, then this piece, the front piece, and you can actually put all of the screws around the outside of it in before you even put them together, because they are just for this bead is just for looks. I have 4 wrenches. I'll find the right one sooner or later. These don't really do anything. The locking comes from the back piece here. So you place this inside the wheel, tire I should say, inside the sleeve that you just put in there. And this back piece goes here, like so. Line up the screw holes. Make sure you get the bead lined up with the part of the rim. Screw holes lined up. Take the biggest screws that you got and tighten one down inside. Whoa. Inside. Make sure you got them lined up. Press it down. Start to tighten it. Tighten it just a little bit. Okay. Get another one. Go right across from it. You see here I got one in. Put the other one right across from it. Tighten it down a little bit. And as you can see, everything seems to be lined up. And then you put the rest of the big screws in and you tighten them down a little bit. Each one just tightening it against the bead. Locking it in place and making sure it doesn't pop out. And it's as simple as that. These are very simple wheels to lose. Like I said, Amazon, a lot of companies sell them, the same wheels, on the internet. I've used them on probably 5 or 6 of my projects from Amazon. And they're not bad. They're only $30 some. Like I said, I'll put a description of where I got them. And then there's some big screws here, but you just tighten these down a little bit at a time, each one, and just keep going across from each one. Don't tighten just one of them all the way down. You'll pop the bead and then you'll be mad. You'll have to start over. So you just keep going, skipping. Till you get them all tightened up. Like I said, they're very easy to use. These are some simple, good looking wheels. And there's a lot of them, different styles, colors on the internet. Comes with really good looks. Okay, and that's it. That's all there is to it. Pretty simple. Then you put in 350,000 screws in here. Okay, I use my torque screwdriver. Again, it has a torque. Okay, and the reason it's torqued is so you don't strip out your screws. Alright, so if you get one, this one's not available anymore. But there's several of them on the market. And I'll be back when I get all these screws in. Okay, so again, I got all the screws in and I'm just about done, but I just want to show you It can't over torque when you have a screwdriver that allows you to set the torque. Alrighty, so about 10 minutes to put the tire together and wheel, and as you can see, it's got a little spring to it. It's not real hard. Foams kind of make it squishy, but not so squishy. These are very squishy tires, as you can see. Okay, and this puts a little firmness to them. All right, so that's going to be the wheel and tire combination for the Moon Buggy, and I think that's going to look pretty good. I think that's going to look pretty good. So, let me do a couple more, and then I'll come back and show you the stance of this buggy. And we can measure for our shocks and links and stuff like that. Get the foams in. This is probably the hardest part of the doggone deal, is you got to tuck these foams inside these wheels and work them in just any old way you can get them in there. Once you get them in there, then you got to work them around so that they're not out of shape. But this can be the worst part of putting wheels and tires together, is getting this stupid foams in. And there's lots of different kinds of foams. These are pretty basic foams. You can buy two-stage foams. I put those in my trail buggy. You can buy soft foams. You can buy hard foams. So once you get them in there, just make sure that they're not bunched up anywhere. And then they're going to look like a tire when you get done. Alright, let me put another tire together, and then we'll look at the stance and do some measurements for shocks and how long our wheelbase is going to be. Okay, so I got two of the tires done, and as you can see, now we're going to figure out where we want these tires to sit on this vehicle. Okay, now typically a 10th scale is somewhere around 12.3 inches or 313 millimeters. So let's just take a look and see what we got here. If I just set it there, that's 300. That's 12 inches. So if we move this back just a little bit, or let's actually move this one forward and kind of keep this one where we had it, and we can run, we can go a little bit back with this one. Okay, that's approximately 12.3 inches. So that's 313 millimeters. And that's what normal 10th scale runs. So we can buy links that will give us that wheelbase, and they're pretty common on Amazon. You can get steel or aluminum for pretty much the same price, $16, something like that. So if you're kind of on a budget, I don't spend a whole lot of money on these parts because I've had no failures with Amazon parts. I mean, you can go to other places and buy expensive parts. Okay, so I got it setting up on a couple of tires here. This is, I think, the height I want the moon buggy to be. Okay, so then I have my axles, and we'll talk about axles later, but I have my axles, and we will put the axle there. And like I told you guys, I'm going to make this four-wheel steer. So if you guys haven't done that before, you got to have, of course, two front axles. Okay, these little pins go in the axle. If I can find the hole. Then these hubs sit over that pin. They're slotted. And then the tires fits over that hub. And then of course we have a hub nut. I can never find my wheel wrench. You get a million of them. I got them with every kit I've ever built. And do you think I can find one right now? No. Anyway, so let me get this on here somewhat. Let me put the rest of these parts away so I don't lose them. These little magnetic bowls you can get on Amazon too. They're great. Okay, so we got it about right there. And my shock towers are right here. And I mean, the shock mounts here, and the other shock mount is here. So what we do is we measure about where we want this to sit, right about there. And we measure, now I like the stance, I like the height of the wheel, tire, so we measure from this point to this point, and we have 80 millimeters. So we'll order 80 millimeter shocks. And the shocks I'm going to put on here are going to be dual spring, oil filled shocks, I do believe. Okay, there are external springs, dual spring, and they're, okay, so that's the back. Front, again, we kind of figure out where we want this to be, and somewhere in that area, and we come back and measure. Okay, so the front end is kind of lower. I'm going to raise it up a little bit and get this axle turned back to where it belongs. Yeah, 80. So 80 millimeter shocks all the way around. That will give us that stance that I'm looking for. And that will be the basic stance of that moon buggy. Oops. Throw this axle back here. And our width on these axles. So we got wide axles, all right, and they are 10 inches. So we'll have a 10-inch wide stance, 10 and a half, with the wheel tire sticking out. Okay, and a 12 this way. So wide and fairly long. All right, so there you go, guys. And the magnet is actually working pretty good. All right. So this is how we figure out our stance. And like I said, I kind of figured it was going to be somewhere around the 12.3. This is the 10th scale. A scale, we could get into that. That could be, man, I'm telling you. 10th scale. You know, this is 10th scale. Right? This buggy is 10th scale. That's what they call it. Okay. But I want to show you something. This is considered 12th scale. All right? Which is, that's what they put on the package. But if you look at it, it's pretty much exactly the same size as this buggy here, which is called 10th scale. So scale is nothing. But if you actually take the measurements of this vehicle, okay, and its wheelbase is 9.5 inches. Okay, its height is 20 inches. 8 inches, I'm sorry. 8 inches. Okay, so if you multiply, and its stance this way, I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was, if you look up a Jeep Wrangler, which is this kind of based out of, is this almost perfectly fits to 10th scale, even though they call it 12th scale. Okay, so this scale stuff, it has nothing to do with real world scale. It's just whatever they think they want to call it. You know, you got 1/24th scale. Here's a Jeep Wrangler, 1/24th scale. As you can see, it's way smaller. Is a 1/24th the scale of an actual Jeep? I doubt it. But that's what they call it. So, yeah, scale is, it's not scale to real world. Okay? But anyway, so, this is a nice buggy. I had put up a video about this buggy. You ought to check it out. It's nice. I'll get online today. Order links, shocks. I'm going to order some aluminum links and steel. I don't know if I want to put black links or if I want to put steel links. I'm going toward black, and those will be aluminum. This vehicle's pretty light, which makes it all the weight will be down low. And for transmission, I'm going to get a LCG, low center gravity transmission for this too, so that the center of gravity is low. The battery's going to be in the front, so we'll have front weight. Now you can put brass hubs, knuckles, whatever you want on here and make it heavier, but we're going to go with what it is now, and we'll give it a test drive and see how it goes. See if we have to make any modifications. I'm probably going to put a Fusion 1800 kV all-in-one in this. I don't need it to go fast. It's a crawling buggy, so we're gonna go with that. Alright, so I'm gonna get online and order that stuff. It'll be here tomorrow. The one thing about Amazon, I live close enough to an Amazon place I can get stuff overnight. Alright, so tires, wheels, we measured for our shocks, we measured for our links. We'll get them ordered. In the next video, we'll put them all together. We might get ourselves a roller before long here. Then we'll go with electronics and motors and stuff like that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day.